told you. You are a normal boy. And you're going to start acting like one. You think you're something special? There is nothing special about you.
I've always wanted to know about my parents.
Your parents were the kindest, bravest people I ever met. They were funny and clever, and they stood up for what they believed was right. The next time I see you, we'll be in Hogwarts.
Mr. Potter, I think we can expect great things from you. Let's see who you are.
Are you really Harry Potter?
Welcome back, everyone. It's Charlie. Big surprise, HBO finally released the first official trailer for the Harry Potter reboot series that it's doing. If you didn't realize, they are doing a reboot of the original Harry Potter books. Based on the footage and what they've said about the series versus the movies, is they want to take the extra time given to them because of the actual TV series to do a more faithful adaptation of the books than the movies did. This is a problem with all movies that are trying to adapt a book series, is that generally they only have the time to do about 10% of the actual books, so hopefully them having the extra hours of the TV show will allow them to do way more stuff that they cut out of the movies. There's a lot going on in this very first trailer, but you also notice one of the biggest things is that they are using the subtitle Philosopher's Stone, which is the original title of the original book. They changed it to Sorcerer's Stone when J.K. Rowling's publisher told her that it might sell better in the United States if she changed it to suit younger audiences in the United States. So this is why the title of the first book was different if you read it in the UK or somewhere else outside of the United States, or you saw the first movie outside of the United States. When they made the first movie, it was still called Philosopher's Stone outside the United States. Most of the conversation is probably going to be on the new actors because this is fairly accurate to the books in the scenes, and there are a couple scenes that they cut from the original movie that were in the books, but some of them were deleted scenes as well that they filmed for the movie, but they just didn't put in the final cut. If you did read the books, you probably remember that there are many, many things from the books that got cut for the actual movies just because of the short run times. What I'll do is just go through the trailer shot by shot, talking about Easter eggs and references to the books, and then just talk about the cut scenes from the books that didn't make it to the movies. Starting at the beginning of the trailer, we start with Harry at the Dursleys. We see Vernon Dursley and Petunia Dursley. It's her voiceover telling Harry Potter that he's not special, cutting his hair, basically treating him like absolute crap. There are a couple of things that they cut from that original book at the beginning for the movie adaptation. One of the biggest things was why Dumbledore left Harry with the Dursleys if he knew they were terrible, and the reason why he left them with the Dursleys is because he was reticent to bring him back to Hogwarts and raise him in the wizarding world because he was so famous. He didn't want him to turn out rotten if he just grew up on Easy Street, basically. He felt like the experience of surviving the Dursleys would turn him ultimately into a better person when he grew up, and he was correct in that fact. They also spend a lot more time in the original book setting up the backstory of the Dursleys before Harry Potter actually joins them. We get our first scene with a brand new Harry Potter actor, Dominic McLaughlin. The original main Trinity actors said that they did reach out to the younger new cast Trinity actors just to wish them well and to be careful with social media, because back when the original Harry Potter cast were growing up making those movies, social media hadn't really become a thing yet, especially when they were younger. This is another scene of Harry Potter before he's gotten his letter acceptance to Hogwarts and started going to Hogwarts when he's at a regular school. There were a number of years early in his life when he was just going to regular schools, but all kinds of weird and random things would happen to him because he had powers, because he had magic, but didn't realize that he had magic. This is a scene that they did include in the original movie, him finally getting the letter after many, many attempts they used for a lot of comedy with them trying to keep him from getting the letter. When we see him on the tube with Hagrid, this is actually a scene from the book that the movie didn't include, but they did film it and it turned into a deleted scene on the DVDs, so you've probably seen the deleted version of this scene from the movie if you have bought the DVDs. This is meant to be when Hagrid is taking him to get his wand and go to Hogwarts. We get our first look at the new version of Hagrid played by Nick Frost, who you've probably seen in 1,000 different things. Then even though most of the people that are going to be watching this series already know the story, they've either read the books or they've seen the movies 1,000 different times, the actual trailer was constructed for someone who knows nothing of Harry Potter, so that's why you see them focusing on the scar on his forehead, hitting a lot of the really classic beats.
Whoa, whoa. Here I come. Oh, here I come. Oh.
There's the scene of him arriving at platform 9 3/4 and boarding the train to Hogwarts, meeting the Weasleys. You see them in the background here. We get our first look at Ron Weasley. Most of these scenes were in the original movie, the train arriving at Hogwarts and then taking the long traditional route to arrive via the boats the first time. Hagrid leading them through the forest on their way to the castle. Them entering the Grand Hall while everybody's at dinner for the opening ceremonies. We get a real quick shot at the new Professor McGonagall. Then when they start the Sorting Hat ceremony, like it's about to be put on his head, you get the voiceover dialogue from Garrick Ollivander while he's getting his wand in a different part of the episode, like they're kind of cutting stuff together from different parts of the episode. And it's Anton Lesser, who you probably recognize from Game of Thrones or from Andor. He's been in a ton of things too. Most of the actors in this, as were in the movies, are British actors because it's largely based on British culture, the way that, say, like Doctor Who is a very British series. This is also the reason why they released this trailer for the launch of HBO Max in the UK. Like there's a bunch of UK HBO Warner Bros. Stuff they're showing off because they're launching it as a separate service in the UK finally. We get a real quick shot of the Holy Trinity as they're walking to the Gryffindor Commons room. Arabella Stanton playing the new Hermione Granger and Alastair Stout playing the new Ronald Weasley. Then we get the full-on shot of Ollivander in his shop. All of his dialogue is right out of the books. They also use the exact same dialogue in the movies too. We get a couple shots of them inside the classrooms. I believe the shot of him looking up through all the staircases is inside the 3 broomsticks. We get our first look at the new Draco Malfoy and all of his cronies. This is Lox Pratt playing the new version of the character. A really quick shot of him getting the Nimbus 2000, which is also right out of the movies and the books originally. We get a little bit of the Quidditch match. Most of the advances that they have made in special effects will probably lend well to all of their Quidditch scenes. That's probably one of the biggest complaints about the original Harry Potter movies is they did a poor job of adapting the Quidditch matches. We get a real quick shot of Professor Sprout inside the herbology class. Then a couple scenes of them bonding on the actual train to Hogwarts. There are a couple more scenes during the winter season because the actual class year covers a couple different seasons. There are a couple more wide shots around the castle. It's so massive, they'll probably use this attempt with the TV show to have extra time to visit places that we didn't visit during the original movies too, inside the castle. Another real quick shot of the Quidditch team getting ready to go out for their match. Them inside the Gryffindor common room roasting over the fire. We get our first scene at the brand new Severus Snape played by Papa Esidu. We'll also probably get more with his character too because of the extra time allotted to the TV show. You all probably recognize John Lithgow is the new version of Dumbledore. Then this scene where they're first meeting and he's announcing himself, like he's telling them who he is also right out of the books too. Like this is very early on when they've just met each other.
Wicked.
And we get the title reveal and the other big reveal that they're releasing the season starting Christmas this year. That's the end of December basically, like later in December, so it'll cross over into January. Of course, I will be doing all the episode videos for it week to week. In the way that HBO has explained this, Casey Bloys, the head of HBO TV, is that they will not be able to release this on a yearly basis. So there will be like 2-year time jumps or almost 2-year time jumps between some of the seasons. So it'll be a little bit more like House of the Dragon than say like Night of the Seven Kingdoms, where they are getting Night of the Seven Kingdoms episodes out every single year. From what it seems like, they're committed to doing the entirety of the original main book series, which is at least 7 seasons, but they could run longer than that, just depending on how things go later on. But I think for the most part, they're really just committed to getting all the book story out, however many seasons that does wind up taking. This is one of the reasons why they cast the actors so young at the start, because they'll have a Stranger Things situation where it's probably going to take them 10 plus years to get everything out, and they will look so much older by the time that final season happens. 5 o'clock shadow, Harry Potter. We make all the jokes about them aging up too quickly, but I don't think it'll be that big of a problem just based on how fast they're moving and how they pace each of the seasons out. It should be fine. And I know a lot of people are asking, like, biggest question, biggest elephant in the room, why are they doing this if they're just doing exactly what they've already done during the movies? And yes, probably the first and foremost reason is money. Money is always the biggest reason for doing most things. But their secondary reason, they have said, is to do a more accurate adaptation of the books than the movies were able to do because they were so short compared to what they can do with an 8 to 10 hour TV series. I believe it's going to be 8 episodes. There was a little bit of confusion about that, about how many episodes per season, but I think they're locked in for a solid 8 per season because now that's kind of their go-to move for their big series. Like House of the Dragon used to be 10 episodes per season in season 1, but then they went down to 8 episodes to save on their budget. I know there are going to be questions about how the Paramount buyout is going to affect everything because they're buying Warner Bros. Right now, and that's going to take a couple years. What's going to happen with the Harry Potter series, House of the Dragon, all the Game of Thrones TV shows are doing, like Night of the Seven Kingdoms? For the most part, if you believe what Paramount has said, HBO is like the crown jewel, like the main reason why they're buying most of this stuff, in addition to some of the movie assets, because there's so many big brands and IP from Warner Brothers that they want, Harry Potter being one of the biggest, in addition to like DC movies, almost bigger than DC movies in some ways. For the most part, Paramount said that they're going to leave HBO to their own devices to do whatever they feel like doing, so they're just going to continue with their plan that they originally had before the buyout talks for at least the next several years. But we will see how all that stuff plays out in the background, in addition to just getting regular episodes of all this brand new stuff.
Are you sure?
Everybody post all your reactions in the comments below, and if you spotted any other Easter eggs or references to the books or the original movies that I didn't talk about during the video, just write them below in the comments. What they'll probably be doing is just releasing more teasers and trailers later this year. As we do get more of those, I will do more videos, more footage. So if you do have any special requests for Harry Potter videos, just let me know in the comments below. In related HBO news, I've already done a video for that first Night of the Seven Kingdoms Season 2 teaser. Click here for that, and click here for all my House of the Dragon Season 3 trailer videos, which is also coming up. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.